Good afternoon. It is World Cup Eve, and you are joining Lindsay Williams with my new pod, Kicking It. I hope that you guys will enjoy this new pod. Today is our World Cup edition, and I'm so excited to be joining you. Born and raised in Birmingham, England, now a resident of the beautiful Maryland, USA, and before my fellow Brits ask, unfortunately, it's not where they make Maryland cookies. However, I do wish it was. So before we begin, just wanted to dive into my pod a little and just hopes and expectations and just very excited. So as I mentioned earlier, I am from Birmingham, so I had the choice of 3 teams. However, I did not have to choose because I was chosen by the wonderful, mighty Aston Villa. Yes, that's right. All Villa fans know that they are chosen. So big Villa fan, big England fan, love English Premier League and just the game in general and all leagues. Living next door to the nation's capital, I do also have an appreciation and support for DC United, who are in the MLS League and currently being managed by none other than Wayne Rooney himself. So great job there, Wayne, and hoping for a new and better season this coming season where he gets to take over from the beginning of the season. So we'll see what he does. So I'm just really hoping that this pod will be attractive to English fans, as well as my fellow Americans who daily are rising up in numbers and joining alongside many of us all over the world to enjoy the beautiful game we call football. I do live in the USA, so I'll confess sometimes football and soccer may interchangeably be mentioned. And for those who have seen the new Lay's advert, it's quite funny. I recommend that you go and check it out on YouTube. It's David Beckham and Peyton Manning, and they go back and forth, you know, football, soccer, get some other fans alongside, and then eventually Beckham does slip up and say, soccer. So it's inevitable, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, whether you are a new fan, an inquiring fan, or if you have been cheering on since you were in your nappy, aka diapers, then this show is for you. I hope to discuss a variety of teams, tournaments, players, fans, just all kinds of things. And I hope to kick it with fellow fans. Hope to kick it with coaches, analysts, fellow casters, and just so much more. If you would like to appear on my show, if you have any questions, then please reach out and stay tuned for more. So, guys, I know it's been a bit difficult. It's funny, I was reading some posts today, some people saying they're not excited about this World Cup, they could care less, and, you know, some sweet dads are saying, you know, it's really hard to get into the swing of it, but they've got, you know, 10-year-olds or 12-year-olds, and this is their first World Cup where they really get to, you know, see it and understand it at an older age. So, you know, they're really making an effort for them. But definitely, I think it is difficult right now. But I do know we're also going to go and support our various teams. I had the great opportunity on Thursday to be at a World Cup trivia night hosted by Walsh Trivia. Wanted to give him a shout out and wanted to give the DU crew a shout out. They were the ones who told us about it. And it was really, really a fun time. Had a lot of Arsenal fans, of course, and Everton fans, Villa fans, Leeds fans, United fans, and mostly it was USA and England fans, but we had a great time, and that really helped get us in the spirit. But for the first time ever, this Thanksgiving, if you're in America, and Christmas festival will also be known as a festive footy period. So the next few weeks, you're going to hear all about the 2022 World Cup. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to be something new for all of us. And I think the craziest thing of all, especially if you are an English person living in the US, the craziest thing of all is England playing United States of America on a Black Friday. I mean, you couldn't write that script. It is going to be absolutely epic. Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving, so most people have the day off work. They're either shopping or they are relaxing because they've eaten so much turkey, or they are exercising because they've eaten so much turkey. But for a lot of us, we are going to be glued to that television at 2 p.m. to watch England v. the USA. So, for those of you who might be new to football or the World Cup, why is the World Cup so big? And for those of you who aren't, obviously you know the answer to this. I mean, it's crazy. The first World Cup was 1930, and Uruguay were the winners. Well done, Uruguay. And I mean, now here we are, 2022, and it is still a global phenomenon. I mean, it's an opportunity to celebrate countries all over the world. It's an opportunity for the giants to come together. I mean, you have your Copa Americas, you have your European League, you have your domestic league, but there's something different about being a young child and, of course, dreaming to play for maybe your local team, whether you're a Brummie and you get to play for Aston Villa, or you're a Mancunian and you get to play for Man City or Manchester United, or you get this big deal move, somewhere phenomenal. But to actually be born and raised in a country, or, having emigrated there and, that country becomes your home, to be able to put on that national top and play for your country, I mean, is just something absolutely incredible. We have the Olympics, which are really absolutely amazing, and you get to just see athletes there and the pride it is for them. So to be able to play at a World Cup is absolutely incredible. And to be fans of that, to see, all these teams come together, to see these players who are normally enemies on the pitch now have to come together as a band of brothers and play against another country. And not only that, you get to see, Europe, the South America, and then the mighty African countries as well. So it's absolutely great just to see all these teams, and then to see the stars. I mean, you hear of the Messis and the Ronaldos, and to see them play for their country. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's one thing to have a domestic trophy competition in your country, but to have it on the large scale across the whole wide world. And for USA fans, you are in it this year, which is excellent. So yeah, it's going to be great, and a lot of excitement. Again, like I said, it has been difficult, but I think there are some things that we can be excited about, and some things we'll get to see. So I thought it would just be cool. I mentioned I went to a trivia night on Thursday. I'm also a big fan of trivia myself. So if you are listening, I have a quick 5-minute trivia break for you. 5 questions. Going to quickly hit you. Let's see how you do. Question 1. Which country has won the World Cup the most? And for a bonus point, how many times have they won it? If you are new, take a guess. Question 2. Who has scored the most World Cup goals? And for another bonus point, how many goals did he score? Question 3. Who won the Golden Boot at the last World Cup? Question 4. So Messi and Ronaldo, this will be their 5th World Cup. Who has scored the most goals, Messi or Ronaldo? Question 5. What is the best result the USA has had in a World Cup? No, I should say, what is the furthest they have gone in a World Cup? All right, so question 1. How did you do? Which country has won it the most? The answer is, of course, Brazil. And even if you're not a football fan, or if you're new, you could have guessed Brazil. And they have won it a whopping 5 times. They are currently the leaders with 5 times. Who scored the most World Cup goals? Yes, you got it right. It is the German Miroslav Klose, and he actually has 16 goals, and that's 16 goals in 24 games. Who won the Golden Boot at the last World Cup? You know, I had to throw that in there. Good old Harry Kane. And of course, the controversy was quite a few of those were penalties. Hey, a goal is a goal. Question 4, Messi and Ronaldo. Who has scored the most? Again, if you don't know the answer, you could have guessed. And the answer is Ronaldo. He has 7 and Messi has 6. And then, how far has the USA gone in a World Cup? And incidentally, their furthest was a semi-final, and that was in the inaugural tournament many, many years ago. Since then, their best result was 2002, where they made it to the quarterfinals, but unfortunately lost to Germany. So, how did you do? That was fun. I love trivia. So, have some more trivia as the weeks go on. All right, so setup. Many of you are wondering, how does this World Cup work? So, Americans will appreciate this because eventually it gets to a knockout stage, whereas for us Brits, we are used to points accumulation, and we do start the games with that. We have what is called group stages. We have 8 groups. There are 4 teams in each of those groups, and each team will play each other. So again, as I mentioned earlier, England are in the same group as USA, believe it or not. England, USA, Iran, and Wales. So England will play USA, Iran, and Wales. And based on each game, if you win a game, you get 3 points. If you tie or draw a game, you get 1 point. If you lose, you get 0 points. And of course, the goals that you score go towards your goal tally. So that's very, very important. I know at the Women's World Cup a few years back when USA played Thailand, I can't remember the final score. Was it like 13 goals? And people complained. But in the grand scheme of things, goals actually count. So yes, you may have been beating a team, and some people say that's just not fair. But actually, goals count. So goals are important if 2 teams are tied on the same points. All right, so once we go through the group stages, we have the round of 16 knockout stages, and then after that, it is win or go home, and that's where the tears begin. That's where the tears begin. I'm an English fan, so I know all about tears, all about penalties, and all about going home. Then, of course, we have the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the amazing finals. So that's just for those of you who may be new. So, guys, predictions. What are your predictions? I love all the brackets that everyone can do, and just hearing from different fans, hearing from different athletes. So we know the favorites, of course, are Brazil. It's been a while for Brazil, but have they finally got their team together? Are they finally in a position to take that trophy home, or is it going to just be all talk? They have an excellent team. Not only do they have an excellent team, I think they are a well-rounded team. They're not just relying on their strikers. They are so well-rounded that they were able to leave Firmino at home and Gabriel from Arsenal, who I really felt for him. I think he's had an excellent season in defense at Arsenal. So yes, Brazil. I mean, they look like the complete package. Has Neymar matured some more? I think he has. We'll see. But Brazil are favorites right now. And right up behind Brazil, we have Argentina. Wow, Argentina. Came so close. Lost in the finals. So Messi knows about heartbreak. And yes, oh my gosh, this is, I would say I think it's their last dance. They've said it is. Who knows? Because, sometimes players come and surprise you, but I'm pretty sure it is the last dance for Ronaldo and Messi. But out of the two, who has a better shot? Definitely Messi. The team, again, Argentina has a great team, well-rounded. Just want to give a shout out to my boy, Emi Martinez, in goals, which I hope we do not have to face him. But yes, again, just a great, well-rounded team. And, now I feel like we see an older Messi. Yes, the pressure is still on his shoulders. Yes, he carries the team in so many ways, but I don't think he is just carrying the team by himself. I think there's a cohesiveness. I think there's more maturity all round. I think also they want to win it for him as well, which sometimes can be difficult, saying, you want to win this for someone, because you want to win it for the whole team and for yourself as well, not just for an individual. But again, knowing that, he is one of the greatest of all time, and he's one of the current GOATs. Of course, the Ronaldo-Messi debate goes on, but for him to win a World Cup, would that solidify? Would that really tip him over the edge? Would that give him the advantage over Ronaldo? Let me know your thoughts on that. But yeah, like I said, he came the closest out of the two of them to winning, and that was in Brazil in 2014. But they were beaten by Germany. So again, Messi, he's on 6 goals in 19 games. So, and then after Brazil and Argentina, we have France, we have England, we have Netherlands, and we have Belgium. We know France are the current winners. Unfortunately, this World Cup, they will be without Pogba, they will be without Kanté, and just love Kanté. Great player for Chelsea and for France. Such a humble guy and great player. But are France ready? Are they ready to try and take back that title, or are they just gonna leave it to Brazil and Argentina and England? Whew. What does an English person say about the English national team? I am 40 years old, so I have never seen England men. I have seen the England women win something. Well done, Lionesses. But the England men, whew, all we hear about as English fans is 1966. That date will be etched forever in our hearts. I'm sure so many people have that as their password. But yeah, it's really great when you watch historical shows, and you actually get to see them winning the World Cup in the show. That's the closest you get. But England, and of course, my goodness, finals of Euros, and lost to Italy, and semi-finals in the last World Cup, lost to Croatia. So, of course, there is the debate of Gareth Southgate, and is he good enough for England? You have those who are like, he is absolutely the best thing for England. He has got us to a semi-final and a final, in the past 6 years. And then, of course, you get some who say, no, we want him gone. He is not the solution. It's a tricky one. I'm going to tread carefully. So positives, what positives do I see? I see that he has handled the media very well. And, the media are always a downfall to England when it comes to tournaments. There's a lot of hype beforehand. That's why so many other countries just really hate England. They just feel like we're so arrogant, and all the hype. It's coming home. It's coming home. And guys, let me just tell you, for some of you who aren't English, when we say it's coming home, sometimes we're actually laughing at ourselves. It's, for some people, it might be arrogance, but for some of us, it's just simply become a saying of, in my wildest dreams, it is coming home. But I know that it's really not going to happen because, we haven't seen it since 66 and, we've been built up so many times and we've been let down, whether it's a penalty loss, whether it's a red card, whether it's just injuries or just not living up to the expectation. But back to Southgate. So he has dealt with the media very well, which is a good thing. He's also created a cohesiveness in the team, which is really, really excellent to see, because I think that's been some of the downfalls of the golden generations of England. You've had these excellent players, Gerrard and Lampard and Beckham and Rooney and, all these excellent players, but yet why is it, they couldn't go on and win? And part of the criticism has always been that, there was a lot of disconnect within the team. You have the Man United players and the Chelsea players and the Arsenal players. So I definitely applaud Southgate for being able to really bring a unity to the team that we haven't seen before, and you see it in the pictures where they're in the swimming pool and Saka is playing with his rubber ring, and another guy, I love Saka, great guy. Jack Grealish is Jack Grealish and just loves everyone, well, apart from Almiron, but we won't go there. But Jack, you need to play like Almiron this World Cup, let me tell you, and you need to offer him an apology. So, definitely there's a unity that we haven't seen in a long time, which I think is a great thing. But if Gareth Southgate could have boarded the plane with 22 defenders, would he have? I don't know, but, it makes you wonder. Just the negativity sometimes in his play and the safe, conservative style of play, I think has let us down. In both games, in the semi-final against Croatia and then in the final against Italy, we were winning, and then we sat back. But how do you sit back when you have such great creative talents within your team? When you do have the Sakas and the Fodens and the Grealish and the Mount, and of course, Harry Kane, and we have Wilson now as an alternative striker. How do you sit back when you have such creative players? So I think that's the other criticism, that yes, he's got us so far, but then many would argue anybody could have got us that far with that caliber of players. But the difference is he was not able to utilize those players to capitalize on that and win, the semi-final and make it to the final of the previous World Cup, or to actually win the final of the Euros. So the jury is out on Southgate. Like I said, some who believe he's the best thing that we've ever had, and some who are just absolutely disappointed. So I don't know where you stand. Everyone is welcome to their opinion. Like I said, I'm trying to see the positives and the negatives. But of course, I will support him and I will support the team. And I will hope that he will prove me wrong with his negative tactics and play some beautiful, beautiful football, and it will come home. But we will see. Either way, I'm going to enjoy. I hope that I'm going to enjoy. Another thing to think about is this World Cup is in the winter, like I mentioned earlier. But not only is it in the winter, it is in a country that is blazing hot. So how is England going to deal with that? You know, for those of you who are not used to English weather, it is a lot of gray skies, clouds, and rain. I remember as a child playing netball in the rain and playing football in the rain, and it didn't matter how hard it rained or how long it rained, you played, and it didn't matter how wet you got. So I remember when I came to America and played in the summer here, and I felt like I was going to faint every single week. So are they going to be conditioned for that? I don't know. Is that going to favor some other teams and countries that are used to playing in the hot weather? How is that going to fare? Then also, just want to think about the injured players who unfortunately cannot make it. Definitely close to my heart and my English team is Reece James. Had a great season, great few seasons with Chelsea at right back. You know, done an excellent job. Of course, been hampered by injury as well, but that's so unfortunate. I've mentioned Conte and Pogba. Thankfully, Min Son apparently is well, and he will be in the squad. Diego Jota for Portugal will be missing. And as of yesterday, I believed it was confirmed. And for me, this one, I think, is the saddest of all. Sadio Mane of Senegal is going to miss the World Cup. I mean, I think out of all the African teams, I think Senegal would definitely the team to watch. And definitely, please forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, the hope of Africa right now. And Mane, just such an excellent player. You can see this season how his presence has been missed dearly at Liverpool, and you know they've had to adjust to losing him, which I still don't get why they let him go. But anyway, I mean, just and not even his skill as a player and his talent, and just really a player that's sometimes overlooked. And I think sometimes, you know, Salah got more of the mention than he did, but an incredible individual. I mean, this guy, what he does for his country in Senegal, I mean, talk about taking care of the people, talk about using his platform as an athlete, using his money to go and help those who need help, not forgetting where he came from. Just a great guy. So I love him, and I just had to give him a shout out. And he will be missed. He will really be missed. And then while we are on injuries, let's not forget the left at home. Those who were actually not even picked. Some really interesting left behind. David De Gea of Man United has been left behind. Sergio Ramos. One that is a bit disappointing, I think, for most English fans, and definitely for me, was Tomori. I mean, had a great season with AC Milan. Not really put a foot wrong. Played game after game, and he has been left behind. I mentioned Firmino earlier of Liverpool and Brazil. Thiago from Liverpool also is left at home. Digne of Aston Villa, I mean, I get that he's been injured for a while. He just came back. Scored a beautiful free kick, by the way, France. So, yeah. And also Mendy of France has been left behind. And the one I mentioned earlier that I felt was... I felt disappointed for was Gabriel of Arsenal and the Brazil team. So, I mean, yes, this World Cup is exciting, but I feel for those who are left at home, and maybe this might have been their last chance. Of course, we know about Ivan Toney as well, and unfortunately, it's just the debate of so much speculation right now. But I think Wilson was picked over him, and you have to ask, did Gareth Southgate know about the allegations of betting, and that's why he wasn't picked? So we really really do not know about that. So I mentioned that Ronaldo and Messi will be making their 5th appearance. Also, Ocho of Mexico will be making his 5th appearance. So just some incredible stats right there. Oh, yes, let's look at, okay, so not only is it strange for us as fans to be watching a World Cup in the winter, but how is that going to affect the domestic leagues? How is that going to affect the Premier League and, La Liga and Bundesliga? We know that the team that has the most players going to the World Cup is Bayern Munich. They have 17 players. I actually thought it was going to be Man City, but they were just behind them with 16 players. So Man City is going to have 16 players. Can you imagine training for the likes of Man City, Man United, Bayern Munich? I mean, what are the other few players going to do that are left at home? That's going to be interesting. So yeah, Man United has 14 players going to World Cup. Chelsea has 12. Arsenal has 11. So I mean, for the Premier League, it's going to have a big impact because we know that. That's another thing about having the World Cup in the summer. Yes, you come home and you have that fatigue, and then, you join your domestic league. You join your club about a few weeks to a month later, but normally there's special dispensation, and some of them don't have to go straight back to their clubs depending on how far they got in the tournament. But this is crazy because the tournament is going to finish on December 12th, and then Boxing Day, 2 weeks later, Premier League will continue. And out of all the leagues, the Premier League has the most players going to the World Cup out of all the leagues, Bundesliga, La Liga, everyone. So, again, great for the Premier League, and just shows again how well they're doing, and the diversity of players from different countries. But how is that going to impact the league, and how is that going to impact the title? Arsenal are currently sitting top of the English Premier League, which for Arsenal fans is excellent, is a miracle right now. And I don't mean that as a diss. I mean it. I put my take my hat off to Arteta. I think he's done a great job. I think while, everyone was calling for his head, they kept faith in him. And you see, he was under the tutelage of Pep Guardiola. I mean, you're seeing that. You're seeing what he's learned there, and now being able to go and take that to Arsenal, and just doing really well there. So, Arsenal are first, Man City are second. How is this going to affect that title race? 9 players from Arsenal and 16 players from Man City. How is it going to affect Champions League? So just interesting. Not only is this a first, but I would also say it's a bit of an experiment, and again, the fact that there was no break, the leagues did not end, then they went on a break, then we had the World Cup in the summer. They have literally stopped playing last week, and then the World Cup starts this week. So again, we see how many players have been injured and not able to join the World Cup. How many players are going to be injured as a result of the World Cup and not be able to contribute to their teams. So this is an experiment. So, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things go. So before I finish this pod, my first pod, just some thoughts on the World Cup, just some introductions. We are going to look at EA Sports predictions. And apparently, EA Sports has got every World Cup winner right since 2010 using a FIFA simulations. So apparently in 2010, it predicted Spain would win. In 2014, that Germany would win. In 2018, that France would win. And for this 2022, their prediction is that it will be Argentina and Brazil in the final, and that Argentina will win it. Well, that's all from me today. I will definitely check in next week after the first round of games and see how things are getting on, any upsets, any surprises, and however you're feeling today about the World Cup. And I believe it's important that we use our voice, be upset if you want to be upset, and use your voice, use your platform to speak up for the rights of others. Those things are really important. Until then, I hope we can also get behind our teams and support and enjoy and have a time of fellowship and community as well, because that's another great thing about these games and these tournaments, that the coming together, families coming together, rivalries, but good rivalries, community, support, crying together, laughing together, being upset together, and just enjoying. So until next time, thank you for joining me, Lindsay, and Kicking It.